Hi, this is Kat Chancellor with Stamp Art Connection and StampArtConnection.com. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. And today I want to demonstrate how to make this beautiful card using the Beautiful Blizzard bundle, which includes this stamp set and this wonderful die. Now what we're going to do though is we're going to use our embossing mats, and these are the embossing mats from the Cut and Emboss and the Standard Cutting Emboss Only Cut and Emboss embossing mats that are in the annual catalog. Now these Big Shot embossing mats add more texture to your crafting, because depending on the type of die you use and the type of mats you use, you can get a lot of effects. And this here is kind of like an information sheet that I created from the packages because the print was too small for me. But if you subscribe to my newsletter, you will get this free. It will come with you as part of the free information that you get as a subscriber to my newsletter. Just go to StampArtConnection.com and subscribe. Okay, so having said that, we're going to make this card, and with this card we're going to use a piece of Whisper White that's just cut at our standard 5 1/4 by let me get my little thing, standard cutting size. I think it's like 5 1/2 by 4 1/4. We're then going to have a layering piece of 5 1/4 by 4, and then finally this is Pool Party. This is Night of Navy, and this is going to be 5 by 3 3/4 right there. And this is the piece that we're going to emboss. You're then going to need another piece of Whisper White, because we're going to go ahead and we're going to emboss in silver our sentiment and cut that. And I believe I have the punch, the triple punch that I used to do that. I also have a piece of silver foil because we're going to go ahead and cut out some snowflakes, and for that I am going to use the dies from the Seasonal Layers Thinlit dies, which had all these wonderful dies from leaves to branches, beach chairs, and so I'm going to pull these out because I'm going to go ahead and cut those, and I'm going to use those for my snowflakes. Okay, so having said that, let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing I want to do is I want to go ahead and emboss this with my embossing mats. So using my little information sheet, I'm going to bring it over here, and it says that I'm using the Cut and Emboss. And I'm going to take my Big Shot platform, and let me bring that into view right here. Okay, so I'm going to use my Big Shot platform, and with my Big Shot platform, let me just go ahead and I'm then going to, this usually comes with a thin die adapter. I'm not going to use the thin die adapter. I'm then going to use just a standard cutting pad, which is our clear cutting pad. I'm going to take my die, which is going to have the paper right here, and I'm going to grab a yellow sticky, because this is going to go with the cutting edge up right here. So I just want to go ahead and line it up, and then I'm going to grab just a piece of Post-it and just kind of hold that in place. Actually, I think I'm going to turn this like this. You can see how I have this lined up. And then I'm just going to go ahead and line that in place. Then I'm going to take this thick silicone mat and I'm going to put it right there. And then I'm using the impression pad that comes with these mats. And I'm going to lay that there. And now I'm just going to press this through my Big Shot. I'm just going to bring it out the other side. And there we go. We have, carefully take off this. There we go. We have our paper, and it's cut a little bit, but that's okay. I'm not really going to get all excited about that. It can cut and emboss, but I really just want it to emboss, and I want a deep emboss. So I'm just going to kind of leave those kind of flat like that. Okay. So I'm going to set this aside, because the next thing we're going to do is we're going to cut our little snowflakes. Now for that, I'm going to need the Big Shot platform. I'm going to need the thin die adapter plate and my precision base plate. And I'm going to grab my foil and I'm going to lay my snowflakes right there. And I will cover them with a clear mat. And this happens to be a cutting pad, but I'm going to use it. I'm going to use it anyway. So I'm just going to put that right there. And we're going to run this through. Just make sure everything's lined up. There we go. We're just going to run that through the Big Shot. Now, if I want to, I can use my little die brush here. And they've already kind of popped out, but I can always use my die brush and just very gently kind of go over them. And they should pop out beautifully, and they do. So there's one, and this one doesn't want to pop out. There's two, and I think this one just wants to stay in there. So usually when that happens, I'll grab this again. And so let me pull off this Post-it note. And there we go. Finally got, there you go. It came out. Okay, so then I have my 3 little snowflakes, and I'm just going to go ahead and move all this aside because I've finished with my cutting. So now that we have this done, and it's kind of starting to pop up a little bit, what I'm going to take is I'm going to take some of this Frost White. And with this Frost White, I'm going to grab a brush and I'm going to smear it on this dauber. And then I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to rub this on the top of my paper. And what it's going to create, it's going to give it a very pearlized look. And you can kind of see how it's nice and glossy. I want to make sure my edges are done. And there you go. All right, so now that I have that done, and I have that done, I'm just going to go ahead and put this here, and we're going to stamp the sentiment that we're going to use, which is this one here. I love it. If a hug were a snowflake, I'd send you a blizzard. I'll turn this paper like this because we're going to stamp that right there. I'm using silver embossing powder, so I need my Versamark, which is right here. Very nicely embossed. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to trim this right about there. And then I've got my my triple banner or punch here, and I'm just going to take this, and I like to just flip it around like this and just kind of make sure I get those corners are what I line up. I line my corners up right there. I'm going to do the same thing on this side. Just get my corners straight. Okay, so there is our banner. It's going to go on our card. So now I can take this and I'm going to put this on my Night of Navy, and I'm going to use some tear tape here. And I'm going to make sure I get my tear tape all the way to the end of my paper. Now, you can tell I do have some pieces that look like they kind of came up a little bit, or cut through. I have little areas that look like they cut through. I'm going to patch that with tear tape. In other words, I'm going to put tear tape on the back to make sure that those don't come up. So I might put a couple of little patches. So I really like that I got a very deep emboss, but some of it did cut through a little bit. I'm not going to worry about it because I'm just going to throw some tear tape on it. So now that's done, I'm just going to go ahead and put it right in the center, right there. Okay. So this is going to go right there. But before I do that, what I want to do is figure out where I want my snowflakes. Now what I did in my other card is I just split my snowflake in half here. And you can do half of it here and half of it there. And then you can add a small one, and let me get all the little pieces and parts out. Right there. Or I think it'd be better balanced if I just have this like that and then that there. So that's a better balance. All right, so how we're going to put that on is we're just going to get ourselves a glue dot, and I'm going to just kind of put a glue dot right on the face, on the front of my snowflake. Okay, so there's that. So now what I want to do is I want to grab some of my dimensionals, and I'm just using the big dimensionals, and I'm going to go ahead and put them on the back. Snowflakes. I'm putting some extra dimensionals. I'm going to pull off the backs. Okay, my backs are pulled off. So now I'm going to grab some of this silver thread. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of wrap some silver thread around my hand like that. I'm going to meet it up together, and then I'm going to cut. So here's my two raw edges are right there. Oops, came apart. So I'm going to take my raw edge and I'm going to put it on this inside glue dot there. And that's all I'm doing. I'm just kind of pulling it so I can see pieces of it peeking. Okay? So now I'm just going to go ahead and put this down right about there. You can see some of my thread peeking out. I'm then going to take another glue dot, and I'm going to put this glue dot right in the center of this here. Pick that up, and I'm going to put it right here in the corner. Now I'm bringing in my rhinestones, and I'm going to pick up one of these rhinestones. Where did it go? There it is. I'm going to put a rhinestone right there. And you know what? Let me show you how this new tool works. This is actually kind of cool. So let me pick up another rhinestone, because I'm going to put some rhinestones around my, so I just pick up the rhinestone with this little grabber thing, and I'm going to put it right there. I'm using the edge of my handy dandy tool here, and then this kind of has this putty, so then I can pick up my rhinestone and put one down over here, press that in. And pull out another rhinestone here, just pushed it off, pick it up with my putty, and I'm going to put one right here. And there you go. I have some silver thread right here. I have my rhinestones. I kind of embellished that right there. So now let's go ahead and let's put that on our card. Okay, so there you have it. That wasn't very, 29 minutes to make a very elegant card using the beautiful Blizzard bundle and our embossing mats. So, and featuring some new tools, including this wonderful Frost White all-purpose ink, our new stamping tool, some silver thread, and pearlize some paper. Hey, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like it, and if you want all the information for using these neat embossing mats, Big Shot Embossing Mats, subscribe to my newsletter, and you'll get a email with this, so you can just print this out and throw it in a page protector, and you'll have it at your fingertips, so you can go ahead and emboss away. Thank you so much for joining me. Happy stamping.